my name is Shelley Stern-Grach and I'm with Microsoft, and I want to welcome you to Civic Chat, Networking Our Neighborhoods, and you can find us on meetadvisors.com. Our guest today is David Hiller, who's the president of the McCormick Foundation. Known David for a long time. We're thrilled to have you here today.
Thank you, Shelley. Good morning. This is my first time on Civic Chat.
Well, welcome, welcome. We'll have you back for more.
Very exciting. I love this.
And it's a beautiful spring day.
It's a beautiful day.
We're thrilled. So tell us a little bit about McCormick and what you do.
Well, let me share one special thing. Today is actually our 60th birthday.
Congratulations.
We were established on April 1st, 1955. Colonel Robert R. McCormick, sad for the family, that was the day he passed, but happy for Chicago because he took all his money and his wonderful farm and estate out at Cantini and put it into a charitable trust.
Terrific.
And he said, do great things for the people of Chicago and Illinois, and that's what we've been trying to do ever since.
Terrific. So let's dig a little deeper on that wonderful news and tell us just a little bit more specifically kind of where you focus and where your priorities are.
Yeah, so we're very focused on Chicagoland. I bet 3/4 of the grants that we do are in and around the sort of greater Chicagoland area. And a lot of it's in the neighborhoods.
Okay.
We're big believers that where the great work actually happens is in the neighborhoods with the frontline organizations helping families and kids be successful. That's the sort of central part of what we're trying to do, with a particular focus on the families that are most at risk, so low-income communities and where families are struggling. And within that, we work all across the sort of life cycle. We work with really young kids. As you know, so much should happen for the kids in the birth to 8, the youngest years. Sadly, too many of our kids show up at school already behind, which is just a criminal thing.
So you focus on some of the early childhood
programs?
We
do a lot of early childhood. And the great thing, Chicago and Illinois have been such leaders in early ed. So we work with some great groups like the Ounce of Prevention Fund and the Erickson Institute and Metropolitan Family Services. Interesting little footnote on Metropolitan Family Services. They were one charity that Colonel McCormick named in his will 60 years ago today.
I'll have to talk to Rick Estrada about that.
So Rick always reminds me of that and says, well, come on, the Colonel wanted us to work together. But there are so many groups, as you know, doing great work in the neighborhood. So we try to keep that going.
The cradle to career issue, really let's start early and let's help, support our children, our families all the way through. That's such a huge issue, and you are a huge supporter of Thrive Chicago.
Well, as are you.
As is Microsoft, and we are, just full disclosure, everybody, we're on the board together.
We're both on the board,
We shoulder to shoulder.
Shelley, you're great to bring that up. That's such an important thing. It is, as they call it, a collective action model. So what we're trying to do is really mobilize the whole community, public agencies, not-for-profits, funders, and get everybody aligned together on what are the key strategies to get kids successfully from cradle to career. And so far we have more than 200, as you know, groups participating in that, and we're proud to be the sort of host and fiscal sponsor, and got a great incubation period in the mayor's office, and it's really taken off.
So it's really exciting to see this kind of collaborative dynamic going on with the primary work of McCormick Foundation in the neighborhoods, and again this kind of early childhood through career focus, and then the reinforcement working with an organization like Thrive. Can you maybe just give us one example? I know you're in so many of the neighborhoods, but I know you also are looking at some very special, very deep programs. Can you give us just one example of, I'll call it a successful partnership that you've had, and maybe spotlight an example of what you've done?
Well, one, it's one of those you hate to pick because there's so many good things, but I'll mention one. We've got a very deep relationship with Enlace in Little Village, and they've been doing great work for many years. And what they try to do, which is such a great model, is not only work across the whole life cycle, but then being very focused on bringing everybody together in the neighborhood, in that community, to make sure that all the different needs and services, that it's not everybody just doing their own separate silo,
right.
but that you try to coordinate across the community,
right.
so that needs are met and people are helped in a systematic way,
right.
that can help families and kids and lift up the whole community, really.
So that's really important. So I just want to ask you kind of a clarifying question there. So for our nonprofit partners and members of the Donors Forum that might be watching this, if they're looking to partner with McCormick, is that, I'll use the term leadership role, being an umbrella, is that something that you look for as far as the skills of your local nonprofit partners?
Yeah, well, we work with partners in a number of capacities.
Okay,
so in some of the neighborhoods, it'd be like in Lasse is doing kind of the lead organizing agency,
right.
and as you know, the LISC communities,
right.
of which there are many, have been the models for that, and then Lasse is in Little Village is one of the original LISC communities. But then within the work that's going on, we work with all different groups doing the different service provision and help. So the early childhood providers, the out-of-school time enrichment activities, the people, as you know, of special interest of ours in the civic education, workforce development work. So we'll work with both the conveners and the umbrella groups, but then, you know, it's the feet on the ground, all these amazing groups who are doing the direct service provision that we do a lot of work with.
It's terrific. So let's talk a little bit, you snuck in the word civics.
I did.
You snuck in the word civics. I knew you were going to bring that up. So McCormick, just for everybody, McCormick is doing tremendous work in Springfield on a statewide, actually leadership level, countrywide. Obviously a lot of work in Chicago about civics specifically. Yes. I'm going to turn this over to you to get your message out, because that's what this is all about.
That's great. I love it. The historically, a big part of what our schools did was get the next generation of citizens ready to be citizens and know how the government worked, how to get things done, importantly, how to work together on complicated issues, which is a skill I think a lot of us have lost or need to work on. Illinois is currently one of only 10 states in the country that doesn't require a civics course for graduation from high school.
Okay, so let's get that out. One of 10 states.
One of only 10 states
in the country that does not require
civics, and a result, nearly half the schools don't require it, and records are a little unclear, but we know lots of kids in those schools are graduating from high school without the basic skills and knowledge that citizens need to be good citizens. So we're working hard with a lot of partners. There's for years been a group called the Illinois Civic Mission Coalition that's trying to build back up that civic education in the state. And there's now legislation that's been introduced that would get a civics course requirement for all the high schools and kids in high school.
And this is statewide?
Statewide. Okay. Statewide. Modeled on, this is, they're excellent models for how this can be done. We've worked with CPS to help launch their Global Citizenship Initiative that's now grown to 40 high schools. They are models of how this can be done really, really well, and we work closely with Barbara Bird Bennett, the CPS CEO, and her colleagues. Statewide, there's a group of more than 30 what are called democracy schools, which are, again, sort of exemplars of schools that really take civic learning seriously. So we know how to do this, we know what works, we know it helps kids also overall in their academic achievement, helps them stay in school, and most important, it helps them be effective citizens when they get out into the community.
That's really an amazing initiative, and what I'd love to do is invite some of the folks at McCormick who are leading this initiative to come back, and maybe we'll just do a whole civic chat regarding the focus on civics.
Oh, we'd love that. We'd love that. In the meanwhile, if people want to get involved in this and hear more about it, go to McCormickFoundation.org, and you can look under the hashtag Bring Civics Back.
Bring Civics Back.
Bring Civics Back. That's what we're trying to do, get civics back into the schools where it belongs. But we'd love to have some of our colleagues come back and talk more about it.
That would be terrific. David, thank you so much for your time today. Everybody, McCormick Foundation, great work that they're doing in the neighborhoods. And we have hashtag Bring Civics Back, McCormickFoundation.org, right?
Great, you got it.
Thanks,
David.
Shelley. Thank you so much.
Good being with you.
Our pleasure.
Thanks.